Good morning, Minneapolis. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. And this is Good Morning Minneapolis. I'm your host, Toussaint Morrison from Onsite Public Media. If you'd like to support the show and help us make more, you can just click the link below and support us doing this work and other series that are coming from just an entire crew of people of color and just doing new things in public media. In obvious news today, everybody lost in the NFC North. Everybody. Even you, Green Bay. But guess who's number one? The Vikings, because we didn't lose to a conference opponent. A few weeks ago, 6 Minneapolis mayoral candidates took to the stage to duke it out in a good old-fashioned Minnesota forum. Yeah, forum. The 6 candidates discussed law enforcement, safety, the two aren't synonymous, they're not synonymous, housing, and environmental issues. Yep, that happened. And all the main players were there. Sheila Najad.
As mayor, I'm going to invest the most in safety, and it starts with our youth, right? We've been defunding schools, youth programming, housing for years, and those are what we need to build stable communities.
Gerald Perry.
I'm raising my babies. I have a 13-year-old little girl and a 5-year-old little girl. And the things that we're dealing with today, I do not want them to have to deal with tomorrow when I'm gone. So I feel like I have no choice but to stand up and fight for what is right, what is righteous, what is justice.
Mark Globus.
One of the biggest lost opportunities right now is that the focus of the world has been on Minneapolis since the murder of George Floyd and the uprisings that ensued. We have the opportunity to harness the world's attention and spotlight in a very positive way. But the leadership at City Hall has totally squandered this opportunity because I will tell you more in the weeks and days coming. Thank you.
Mark went over time and didn't stop when he was told to. First candidate that happened to. And then there was AJ Awed.
The city also needs public housing. As you all know, privatization is going up. And for some reason, the current administration and the establishment have a vision to privatize public housing out of existence. Under AJ's administration, that's not gonna happen.
Toussaint appreciates how AJ refers to AJ as AJ. And if AJ would like to cut a pro wrestling promo, AJ seems like just the AJ to do that. Next up, Kate Knuth.
Well, I've heard a lot of divides and differences about our path forward. Underneath all of that is the fact that people love our city of Minneapolis. And I know that tapping into that, we will make it through this moment and make it a real turning point towards a just, safe, resilient city.
It might just be the pattern recognition going on in my reptilian brain, but I'm noticing a trend with a certain demographic of candidate going over time. Anyways, and then there was Mike Winter.
Whatever the city needs, I want to give the city. I don't care about the TFL, and I don't care about the Republican Party either. I'm a union steward with the Teamsters, very proud union member. I've come from a union family. I grew up in Minneapolis, and I went to Minneapolis Roosevelt High School.
Mike Winter is so union and so Teamster, if he wins, he may pull up to his own house with the flatbed truck and demand that he do better. Mark Globus wasn't just the first to think he could talk longer than the time allotted for him, he was also the first candidate to throw that shade, baby.
If abolition of the police is absolutely the most important issue in this election, then I think you should probably vote for Sheila Najad as your first choice. If environmental policy is absolutely the most important issue to you in this mayoral campaign, then I think you should probably vote for Kate Knuth as your first choice. She is a 4-star general when it comes to the environment. I don't think there is somebody who has more knowledge on that area. If, however, you believe that climate change is one of many important issues that have gotten worse under Mayor Frey's leadership, I'd ask that you vote for me as your first choice.
No need to roll out the awning, mama. Mark Globus came with that scripted shade. Also, Mark wrote that shade down. Look at that script. Someone literally wrote that shot for Sheila and Kate. He read it over, thought about it, and was still like, yeah, let's make it rain up in here. Sheila's an abolitionist. Yeah, we'll get her real good with that. Who doesn't love the cops right now? Kate cares about the environment. Pfft, kill shot. Our governor doesn't give a about the environment. Why should anyone else? Mark, we know you have money, okay? Don't ask how we know, we just know, okay? If you really need to hire writers for these public forums, I know so many people of color, especially a black guy with poofy hair that could easily help you with this dilemma. Candidates had many differences, yet many put respect on Kate Knuth's name by saying this.
I want people like Kate and the caliber that she has in that field working with me, right? And that's really what we need from the city.
I would go out and get somebody like Kate to help me. So I'm just going to admit that.
And the award for the most Minnesota series of things said goes to everybody on that stage, every single one of you. That was like the most Minnesota exchange just of all time. How are you going to say, hey, when I win the elected official seat you're running for, I want to hire you as a consultant to do the thing I ran against you for? So, Kate Knuth, beloved environmentalist. Sheila Nejad, painted as just an abolitionist. A.J. Awed addresses A.J. Awed about A.J. Awed. Gerald Perry, first non-Cheeto candidate running for anything to wear a baseball cap. Mark Globus, he's not a politician, man. He's a businessman. Let him handle his business. Damn. And Mike Winter, not a Democrat, not a Republican, just a guy that likes to wear bright orange t-shirts and bears a striking resemblance to Mike Zimmer. And although the candidates may have differences, they all agree on one thing.
You know, Mayor Fry hasn't seen this way forward. He, in the last few weeks, has put forward his budget, and his budget includes status quo funding.
Frankly, there's one thing that I think we can all agree on, and that is that Jacob Fry does not deserve another 4 years in office.
Jacob Fry, they don't like him. The incumbent, the reigning defending mayor of Minneapolis. You can find many of his campaign signs outside of houses that are worth more than entire city blocks in other neighborhoods. And little known fact, every time Jacob breaks a promise, Chief Arredondo champions it as a star in his uniform. And that's not all from the forum. Since then, folks have been receiving flyers in their mail calling residents of Minneapolis to say no. The interesting part is who they want people to say no to. Whoa. Why do they want us to say no? And why do they want us to say it to Sheila Nejad and Kate Knuth? Why not say no to Mike Winter and Mark Globus? And who's all of Minneapolis? All of Minneapolis would imply everybody, kind of like the response to Black Lives Matter. All of Minneapolis matters, just not in employment, education, law enforcement, or quality of life. I want you to know that someone got paid to phrase that. All of Minneapolis. They were paid to come up with that. Somebody got paid to do that. So what is this flyer and who is all of Minneapolis? Ballotpedia writes, all of Minneapolis, a political action committee, is opposing the ballot initiative. Through July 27th, all of Minneapolis had received $109,465, with 64% of the funds from 7 individuals or entities who each provided $10,000. Mayor Jacob Fry opposes the ballot initiative. Could Fry have been one of the 7? So what it sounds like is all of Minneapolis means you need at least 7 rich white guys. But why are they targeting Sheila Nejad and Kate Knuth? Because apparently, according to this flyer, Sheila Nejad and Kate Knuth are for Yes for Minneapolis. The plot thickens. Wu-Tang. The saga continues. Yes for Minneapolis, according to this text I just got, is ballot question number 2, which expands public safety in Minneapolis. Voting yes on question 2 would create a Department of Public Safety where police work together with trained professionals, including mental health professionals, to best respond to crisis. Do you plan to vote yes on question 2? I don't want to wind up on a flyer with Sheila and Kate, but we'll get to that later. But shall we get an outside view to what Yes for Minneapolis is? Sahan Journal writes, the charter entitles the city to levy a $3 tax for every $1,000 of taxable property to fund the police department. The charter also currently states that the mayor has complete power over the department. The mayor appoints and the city council approves a police chief with a 3-year term. The proposed change would strike the entire section about the police department. Instead, it would replace that entity with the Department of Public Safety. The proposed charter language states, The Department of Public Safety is responsible for integrating its public safety functions into a comprehensive public health approach to safety, including licensed peace officers if necessary to fulfill the responsibilities of the department. The mayor would not have complete power over the Department of Public Safety. The mayor would appoint and the city council would approve a commissioner of public safety rather than a police chief. Like other departments, though, unlike the current police department, the city council would be able to pass ordinances that guide the department's operation, and there would be no minimum staffing or funding requirement. Does this mean we'd abolish the police? No. Just means we get rid of the mandatory minimum, fund qualified professionals outside of the police. I love that language, qualified professionals, because we know a lot of y'all ain't. And wouldn't be required to fund cops by a certain percentage of ratio to population. It would also mean that the mayor can still make that buddy cop film with the chief of police. It would just need to introduce a third lead at some point for the Department of Public Safety. And let's not forget how we got here. Cops killing black men at a rampant rate with impunity, an evil empire in the police union that wants to protect those cops, and a mayor that wants to play basketball with those cops. To sum this all up, I think a great question for the new mayoral candidates is, do you want to play basketball with cops that protect killer cops? And that'll do it for us today at Good Morning Minneapolis. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have anything that you want us to talk about in the future, we are going to be making more of these episodes now that we have a teleprompter, bless, and we're going to keep turning out more videos to you as much as possible. We also have a camera exchange. We're going to be giving away cameras and equipment to filmmakers of color, black filmmakers, and youth of color that want to learn how to do photography and learn how to use film cameras. So that'll be coming up soon. Pay attention to onsitepublicmedia.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, all those other things. If you want to support us, go to the link below. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, our work is never, ever, 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 ever done. Have a good one, y'all.